My name is Riana Summer, and you're listening to the second episode of the Pretend Podcast. The topic that we are going to be talking about today is just hits so close to home, okay? It's very near and dear to my heart, and it took me literally forever to film this episode because I care so much about how I convey this singular piece of advice because it has helped me get through so many different things, okay? And it is very important to me that I share this with you correctly, okay? So, ever since I was little, whenever I would go through like an embarrassing moment or if I did something that I regretted, I would immediately run and go tell my mommy, and I would give her all of the details because I am a chronic oversharer. And she would look at me and she would be like, Rihanna, you can come back from anything. Okay. And again, that singular piece of advice, it's changed my life. And I think at first when she said it, I didn't even necessarily believe her until I started to actually live and get through things and experience moments where I was just so embarrassed. And I was like, oh, this is like the end of the world. Like, this is it for me. No other human being has ever experienced this amount of embarrassment. Like, I'm gonna die. This is it. And I would see over time that her advice was absolutely correct. And so I was like, I need to share this piece of advice with you guys. Like, I need to sit down and make a video about it. So I did, like a while ago in like October 2025, I made a video on TikTok called You Can Come Back from Anything. And it got like over 400,000 views and like over 100,000 likes. One thing that my mom would always say that really stuck with me was that you can come back from anything, okay? Any embarrassing moment, anything that you regret, maybe if you did something with a guy or you just feel like you messed up in something, you can come back from anything. And it had so many different comments. A lot of people were saying a lot of different things. But one of the main comments that I got, and also DMs, people were DMing me and asking me this too. They would give me their exact scenario. They'd be like, okay, I know you made a video saying you can come back from anything, but now that you've heard my situation, now that you've heard my circumstance, now that you've heard what I've done, do you actually believe that I can come back from anything? And I would respond the exact same way. I would always say, yes, of course. This video is literally for you. Like, those people who were messaging me, this video is literally for you. It is. You can come back from anything. And that video on TikTok got so many different opinions and comments, and I was like, I really just want to sit down and make a long form video about this because again, this topic is just so important to me because I feel like once you start to truly understand this, you have just such a better life. You have a better outlook on life, and you stop viewing mistakes and embarrassing moments as the end of the world. And I feel like that's so important, and I think that's such an important lesson to learn up to learn up. I think that's such an important lesson to learn as you're growing up. Anyways, I feel like there are two different situations that we need to hit on when it comes to this specific piece of advice. The first one is an embarrassing moment, okay? This is if you tripped and fell in front of your crush or you just blurted out something that you should have just never said and now you're sick about it, okay? The first thing that you're gonna do is let yourself feel embarrassed, okay? Feel embarrassed for about 24 hours. Give yourself a full day to just feel, all the cringiness. Let yourself be dramatic, okay? You can be dramatic if you want to, that's fine. When we go through an embarrassing moment, I feel like our brains kind of trick us and make us feel like this is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to a human being, literally ever in life. And so if you recently went through an embarrassing moment and you're like, I hate this, I hate that I did this, I hate that this happened to me, I never want to go to school again, or I never want to see that boy again, or like whatever it may be, okay? I just wanted to share an embarrassing moment that happened to me so that you don't feel alone, okay? Because embarrassing moments happen to every single human being on this planet. The only human beings that might have not experienced an embarrassing moment yet are probably babies, and don't worry, they will, okay? They're not off the hook just because they're babies. Okay, so here's my story. I was homeschooled all of middle school, and then my freshman year of high school, I actually went to like a public school, and I was so excited. I was just so happy to be around people and like to make friends, and I had so many crushes on so many different boys. And in gym class, I think it was like my 5th period or something, whatever, it doesn't matter. We had 2 options, okay? The teachers were like, "You can either play soccer or you can run track." And I was like, "Okay, okay." I had a crush on a boy in this class, and he decided to run track. So I told my friends, I was like, "Okay, we have to run track. Duh, we're not gonna play soccer. If he's running track, I'm gonna run track." You know what I mean? So me and my friends were just, running around the little circle, probably talking about how this boy is just so unbelievably cute. And then all of a sudden, the world goes dark. Okay? It literally goes black. Then I feel a really, really, really sharp pain in the back of my head. Do you know what happened to me? I look down, I see a soccer ball. I have just gotten hit in the head with a soccer ball in front of the boy that I think is cute in my entire gym class. And it genuinely hurt. I literally, I was contemplating, I was like, "Do I go tell the gym teacher that I need to go to the nurse?" Because I feel like the worse it hurt, the more embarrassing it would be. This is just what my, 14-year-old brain was telling me. Like, "Okay, if this hurt that bad, then you just need to disappear, seriously. Like, if he hurt you that bad." Then the boy who hit me in the head, he runs over, grabs the soccer ball, doesn't say sorry, would never say sorry, and just walks away. Now, I was sick for a couple of reasons. Number 1, my head hurt. Number 2, the boy that I have a crush on just saw me get hit in the head with a soccer ball, and I don't want him to think that my head is a magnet for soccer balls because it's not. Those are all the thoughts that are, running through my brain, you know? And obviously, that moment stayed with me for the rest of the day, and the next day, I was like, "I don't wanna go to gym class at all." I was like, everyone thought that that was so funny, so hilarious, and they're just gonna be talking about it and caring about it and, teasing me about it, whatever. Now, this brings me to number 2. When you experience an embarrassing moment, I need you to acknowledge that that moment is not as big of a deal to anybody else but you. I need you to walk with me for a second. Remember the last time you saw someone trip and fall in front of you? Or do you remember the last time you saw someone just kind of like embarrass themselves in front of you? Do you remember that? How long did you think about that moment? Like when it happened in the moment, you probably laughed or giggled, or maybe you told your friends about it later, like maybe, you know what I mean? But the next day, you completely forgot about it. You did not care. Do you know why? Because you have a life. You have your own things going on. So when other people see you experience an embarrassing moment, yeah, they're gonna think about it for those 10 seconds that it's happening. But they have their own lives. They have their own things going on. They have their own embarrassing moments that they're experiencing. So don't worry about what other people think, okay? Because chances are they completely and utterly forgot about it, okay? The way that you forgot about that person who experienced their embarrassing moment, those other people forgot about your embarrassing moment that you experienced as well. Like when I went back to gym class, literally no one cared. My friends didn't laugh about it, no one mentioned it. We were talking about the new thing that happened, the new person who embarrassed themselves today, you know? The new boy that we just think is so, so, so cute. Because obviously I can't have a crush on the last one, he saw me get hit in the head. Okay, now that brings me to number 3. I need you to let it go, but to let it go with confidence, okay? Keep your head held high. This is for if someone does mention it, if someone does bring it up, literally just be like, "Why are you still on that? That happened yesterday. You don't have your own life? You don't have your own things going on? You're still thinking about something that happened to me? Why am I on the forefront of your mind?" Let it go with confidence. If someone continues to bring it up and bring it up, then you need to assess if that person is the right person to keep in your life, because that just sounds like someone who's trying to bring you down. And, like, do we need that? Do we want that? I don't personally, but obviously you can decide. Okay, so this next situation that we have to get into is if you did something that you regret. Now, I feel like doing something that you regret is just so much harder to overcome than if you did something that you feel embarrassed by. Because doing something that you regret is a mix of guilt and embarrassment, which is just so much worse, okay? This is like if you did something that you regret with a guy, or maybe you hurt someone's feelings. Maybe you just weren't cool in the moment. You didn't act with the self respect that you usually do, and you're sick about it. You're sick and you hated that you did that. You keep replaying it over and over and over and over and over again in your head. You don't know how you're going to overcome it. You don't know how you're going to be a better person. You don't know how you're going to change or move on. Let's talk about it, okay? The first thing that you're gonna do is let yourself grieve it, like I said. Now, when it comes to doing something that you regret, because this involves the feeling of guilt sometimes, it is very easy to fall into a slump, and I need you to not fall into a slump, okay? Because listen, the whole point of this video is that you can come back from anything. And I'm telling you this because I genuinely believe with all of my heart that you can. So, are we going to fall into a slump over something that we can come back from? No. Are we going to fall into a slump over something that we can fix? No, okay? But you're allowed to feel all your human emotions. You're allowed to feel shame or guilt or regret, whatever you're feeling, you're allowed to feel those things. Every single human on earth is going to feel those things at one time or another. So that's totally fine. But again, this is not a slump. Number two, I need you to understand that if you did something that you regret, you have the power to never do it again. I need you to change your behavior completely. We don't always have power over our emotions, but in this instance, you 100% do. You have all the power. The choice is yours completely, and you can never feel like this again. How you're feeling regretful or sad or shameful or guilty, whatever you're feeling, you have the power to never feel like this again by just solely never doing that thing again. And I think that that is such a cool way to look at it because you've learned through those certain situations that whatever you did, however you acted, that does not make you feel good, and that's okay. Now you have that data, and you just have to follow it. Don't keep repeating the same mistakes, but don't be so hard on yourself for making mistakes. We only have one life, and you're doing life for the first time, and you're doing your very, very, very best. And now you have the information that you need to never make those specific mistakes again. And look, a lesson learned is a lesson learned, and sometimes you need to learn a lesson the hard way. Sometimes you need to learn a lesson multiple times, and that's 100% okay, as long as you learn the lesson, as long as it sticks, as long as you don't continue to hurt yourself over and over again. Before I get into number 3, I need to talk about Vanessa Williams. If you don't know the story of Vanessa Williams, I need you to listen up. She is so, so incredible. She was the first Black woman to win Miss America. Let me hold on. Okay, Vanessa Williams, she won Miss America in 1984. 1984, okay? She was the first Black woman to win Miss America in 1984, which is just absolutely insane. She's so beautiful, so talented, so classy, just so incredibly perfect. And after she won, some horrible, awful, evil person leaked photos of her, okay? And after that, everyone was coming for her. Every single news outlet that you can think of, they were all reporting on the story. It got to the point where Miss America literally took back her crown. They took it back because someone else leaked something of her. Isn't that crazy? Anyways, obviously it had to be embarrassing and awful, and just the way that people were treating her, it was just so unbelievably disgraceful, and it just gave racist people an outlet to talk about her even more disrespectfully than they already were. And I'm sure it just had to be horrible and awful, and like I couldn't even imagine. But after that, she started releasing music, okay? And it was really, really, really good. She's incredibly talented. Then she started acting, and she had TV shows and movies that genuinely did so incredible and so amazing. And little by little, the narrative of what people were trying to spew about her and the hatred that people were trying to spew onto her, it just started disappearing. She started becoming a household name, okay? And she was just known for being talented, gorgeous, classy, and perfect again, like she was before. So she overcame all of that adversity, and she overcame all of that hate to the point where Miss America literally had to publicly apologize to her years later, okay? That's how much people started to genuinely love her. They literally were like, "Ooh, like we made a mistake. We need to fix this." And years later, they genuinely had to apologize to her because what they did wasn't okay. But did she let that keep her down? No. Did she let people trying to create a narrative about her make her hide or make her stop chasing her dreams or making her stop sharing her talents with the world? No, she absolutely did not, okay? Also, can we talk about Kim Kardashian for a second? Like, what about Kim Kardashian? What about what she had to overcome? Think about who she is now. When people think about Kim Kardashian, they do not think about how she started. No, literally not at all. Because my mom's calling. Hi, mom.
Hi, Ree. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? What was I saying? Oh, yes, Kim Kardashian. Could she have taken that moment, that embarrassing moment, that invasion of privacy, and made it something that destroyed her? Made it something that made her want to crawl into a hole? Absolutely, 100%. And she didn't. She literally didn't. She's built a genuine empire, and she's done it by rebranding and rebranding and rebranding herself because she didn't let the public's narrative or opinion on her decide who she was going to be or decide how she was going to act or portray herself. And now she's a freaking billionaire, right? Is she a billionaire? I like wouldn't be surprised. I like would bet on it. Is Kim Kardashian a billionaire? She should be. She's like, cause dude, Skims? Yes, of course she is. Look at that. She's a billionaire now, okay? She's a billionaire. And we've talked about Vanessa Williams. We talked about Kim. Let's talk about Beyonce, okay? Beyonce is one of the best performers I think we've probably ever seen in our lifetime, right? Isn't she? She's so incredible, so talented, and she's like good at actually everything. But do you know that she's fallen on stage so many times? She even had a moment in 2013 where her hair got stuck in a fan in Montreal, okay? But when these incidents happen, she just gets right up. She keeps performing. She is a true performer at heart, okay? But the media, they try their very, very hardest whenever, a woman is down, whenever someone experiences an embarrassing moment, to come for them, to continue to bring them down and bring them down and bring them down. But does she let it affect her? No. Okay? No, she keeps on touring, keeps on releasing music because she doesn't let what other people think or what other people say dictate how she's gonna live her life, dictate how she feels about herself. She's just not going to. And why would you? Granted, I'm very aware that we're not Beyonce, okay? I'm very aware that we're not Kim. Like, I'm very aware that we're not Vanessa Williams. Like, duh. I'm just saying there are so many women in this world who have gone through so much, who have gone through public scrutiny, embarrassment, who have made mistakes in the public eye. And if they can overcome it on such a large scale, then you can overcome it on the scale that you're experiencing right now. You can make your mistake in front of the five people that you made your mistake in front of and understand that it's not the end of the world. If they can overcome that, then you can overcome this. I absolutely pinky promise, okay? Okay, that brings me to number 3. I need you to give yourself grace. And before you're like, Rihanna, I don't know how to give myself grace. Like, I just made such a huge mistake and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to forgive myself. I feel like I don't deserve forgiveness. First of all, you know how to forgive yourself. Do you know why I know you know how to forgive yourself? Because you forgave that boy over and over and over again. And what he did was horrible. Okay? You forgive your friends. You give your parents grace. When other people make mistakes, you know exactly how to have empathy. You grew up knowing how to have empathy. But when you make a mistake, it's like, what? It's the end of the world? You can't keep on going? Like, come on. Come on. Also, I need you to remember that making mistakes is just a part of life. It's what helps you learn and grow. And it's also what helps you change and understand that you want to change. I think that change is so, so, so important. And I know that it can be scary. And I'm not sitting here being like, oh, change yourself, like you have to change. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that sometimes when we act in a certain way, or sometimes when we do something that we regret or we make a mistake, that is a really, really, really good cue or a really, really good way to know that sometimes your actions need to change. Sometimes your decision making needs to change. Sometimes something that was working for you, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, it just doesn't work for you now. It doesn't make you feel good now. And you have the complete power to, change your actions and to never do those things again. And I think that that is just such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And regretting an action that you did just means that you want to be better. And, if you hurt anyone's feelings, apologize if you have to apologize. And or if you feel like you wish you acted in a certain situation with more self-respect, then just know that next time you will, because you learned this lesson. So next time when it matters even more, you will act better. You will act with more respect. You will act with self-love because now you know the consequences of not acting with those things and that you need those things in order to make better choices, in order to respect yourself more, and that's okay. It's actually really, really beautiful that you were able to learn this situation now and you were able to go through this now, because some people go through this way later in life, and if you're going through this way later in life, then that's totally fine because at least now at least now at least you still have so much life left and you learn this lesson and you never ever ever have to repeat this mistake again, or you never have to hurt anyone in this way again, or you never have to act without self-respect ever again, because now you know that there's, something that you have to work on, something that you have to change, something that you have to pray about. And life is so beautiful, and we're so blessed to be exactly where we are. And I just wanted to talk about really quickly, if there's anyone in your life who is actively seeing you try to change, and maybe they're like, if you were one way, then you're always going to be that way, or people don't really change, or different things like that. Because when I posted the TikTok video called You Can Come Back From Anything, I did get a lot of comments, and I feel like most of them were from men that were saying, if you were one way, you're going to be that way forever. And, you can't like erase your mistakes. You can't just automatically become a new person and things like that. And so, if you do have people in your life that are making you feel that way, or that are seeing you try to change and are trying to discourage you from that, I just wanted to read you a couple verses. This first one is Second Corinthians 5:17, which states, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away; behold, the new has come." First John 1:9 says, "If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness." Okay? And so, hearing that, you have a choice to make. Are you going to believe human beings who have their own flaws and their own limiting beliefs on life and on self forgiveness? Or are you going to believe the creator of the universe? Okay? The choice is yours. The choice is yours. Me personally, I am deciding to believe Jesus because I think he knows all, seriously. But again, the choice is yours. Anyways, I absolutely adore you, okay? I pray that I was able to convey this message in a really responsible, truthful way, because you can come back from anything, whether it's embarrassment, whether it's mistake, whether it's regret. You can come back from it. You can repent if it was a mistake, and you also can do better. You can treat others better, you can treat yourself better, and you're also not alone. Like, you are so far from being alone when it comes to an embarrassing moment or a mistake. I like absolutely pinky promise. Anyways, I hope this helped you. I genuinely do. Because it's helped me since I was little. And I hope that you got out of this what I got out of it when my mom was telling it to me. I genuinely, genuinely do. And I hope it hits you the same way it hit me. Follow me on Instagram so we can hype each other up and be best friends. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yes, I'm begging for you to subscribe, literally. And give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think, okay? I want to know. I want all the comments. I want to reply, and yeah. I love you. You can come back from anything, okay? You can. You can come back from anything. It's just life. Sometimes you gotta change. Sometimes you gotta do better. Sometimes you gotta be better. Sometimes you gotta accept that embarrassing things happen because they really, really, really do, and it's okay. It's okay to be embarrassed every once in a while. Embarrassing things, they're just like really, really, really good stories that you're gonna be able to tell your kids one day. And if you don't want kids, that's fine. They're gonna be really, really funny that you could tell your husband one day, or your boyfriend, or your girlfriend, or whoever. And that's fine. That's totally fine, okay? Embarrassing moments make the best stories later, and I know no one wants to hear that right now, but I'm telling you that anyway. Love ya. Bye.